Hi everyone, I just wanted to make a really quick video to have a little bit of a discussion around some of the routine strategies and interventions discussed in this week's learning materials, just because it relates specifically to Assessment 3. Now I know our job this week in terms of the discussion board is to ask a question about A2 and get that answered, which is excellent if you have any last questions. But it also might be good to reflect on some of these things because they impact quite heavily on Assessment 3, so you really need to make sure that you have a very good understanding of them. So as you can see, we're talking about routines, and something that I thought that I'd just share really quickly is the idea of an intervention. So it states in our learning materials that as a teacher, we'll observe, those overt behaviours or, specified behaviours that we're dealing with as teachers that we don't want to be dealing with, and they're obviously being caused or triggered by something. So there'll be some sort of trigger that will end up with a student upset or angry or yelling or whatever the overt behaviours are. And then it says that an intervention can be performed, which means that you're going to target those specific behaviours in a certain way, because what teachers do need to be careful of is that some teachers often get stuck in the sort of cycle where they're almost fanning the flames, if for want of a better term, where they become even more combative and more angry and more upset. So you've got to make sure that you're not setting yourself up for further anger. You want to be able to have some sort of intervention which sort of offers some sort of solution to the overt behaviour, but also addresses a lot of those underlying behaviours, because as we've been talking about in week 7 as well, is that these overt behaviours are symptoms of underlying problems. So in our little example over here, it talks about the fact that a child might be upset because their parents are getting divorced. So the overt behaviours have a reason, and that's what we need to be addressing. And we need to offer them some sort of emotional support and something that's going to help them to deal with the situation that they're in. This is going to be very important. We can scroll down in also a section about strategies, because when you have a look at Gemma, Ahmed and Balam in Assessment 3, this is exactly what you are going to be offering for them. So some sort of strategy or some sort of tool that you're going to suggest to deal with the behaviours that you're seeing. So you'll bear that in mind when you're having a read of the readings this week. And if you want to talk to me about interventions and strategies with a mind of Assessment 3, you can pop that into our DB discussion as well. Thanks everyone.